These people need you to be a friend more than you are a lover to them. They're so smart. So you need to keep up with them on their mental level. If you are in a relationship with an Aquarius Venus, if you are one, if you're crushing on one, if your best friend is one, watch this video. This is the ultimate cheat sheet to understanding this placement. So even though Aquarius is right after Capricorn, this placement is not traditional. They are not likely the people who want to go get married in a church. They are going to have a very specific way of partnering up with you. They are more into the new age stuff. They don't like clingy people and they want intellectual stimulation. They need their time alone. And because this is an air sign, Aquarius especially isn't going to really express their emotions. They don't want to talk about their deep emotional feelings like maybe a water sign would. They want to talk about ideas, how to change the world. They're very into saving the planet and the environment. If you can't keep up with them intellectually, they are interested. They like to do unique things on dates. Go to an art exhibit, a science museum, maybe go volunteer at a garden. They will try and impress you with their rebellious, free spirit. They're so open-minded, they are a free thinker. They want to go off the beaten path and they can seem aloof at first. They make their own rules, they're not going to follow the rules, let me just tell you that. They feel restricted by rules that they haven't created themselves. They're kind of detached when it comes to love. Because of their great intellect and their great visions, that's what they want to be admired for. If they feel like you notice they're superior intellectually, they're gonna love that. They are proud of their unique selves. They are attracted to people who are independent, who want freedom, and who are unconventional. They're not going to be clingy or controlling in love, and they're not going to be selfish either. If you can be like a friend with them and you can notice how unique and amazing they are.
Venus in Aquarius is interesting because these are the type of people to where if they had any other Venus and they did the same things that they do, it would make people uncomfortable. It would make people feel weird and it wouldn't be attractive. But when a Venus and Aquarius person does those weird things, it makes people like them even more. It makes them even more beautiful and attractive. These people are often beautiful in a way where it's not them trying. It's something internal, something genuine is expressed outwardly, whether it be by a quirky sense of humor, a quirky style, a way in which they interact with people, but it always manifests differently. They could be conventionally attractive, they could be conventionally unattractive, but there's something that draws you into these people that it's hard to put your finger on. Part of the biggest allure of these people is the open secret that is the fact that they are mysterious, but they're really not that mysterious. It's just they can be a public figure, they could be really close to you, but there's always this air of, so who really are you? This is really the energy of a cat. A feral street cat that has beautiful fur. You don't know how it's so clean when it's wandering the streets and it comes back home. It's the cat that it likes that it can go outside and run away anytime it wants to, but honestly, it's just going to lay on your couch next to you the whole time. But you take away the freedom for the cat to go off and do its own thing, then it's going to go off and do its own thing. If the cat has the freedom to do what it wants, it's really probably just going to hang out with you and be very loyal and faithful. This person really likes changing. They like changing their style. They like changing how they present themselves to the world. They might even like changing some parts of their personality. They go through lots of phases, and they enjoy the freedom and the permission to be able to explore and experiment, especially with those parts of themselves. Something that I've noticed in this Venus specifically is these people, their partners, often feel as though that they give more of themselves to their friendships than to the partner. So if you're dating someone who has Venus in Aquarius, you might feel as though their friends get a different version or a different side of them that you don't get to see. I think the version of them that you get is their most authentic version of themselves. It's just slightly different when it comes to how they engage with their friends versus how they engage with people they're romantically into. Because the romantic part gets the more emotionally vulnerable side of them, where the friends just get the fun, goofy, silly, quirky side of them.
Do not date anyone with a Capricorn or Aquarius Venus if you can't hold yourself accountable and if you don't have integrity. Because let me tell you, they'll cut you so fast anyway. And you won't even see it coming because this energy is also incredibly loyal. They will ride for you. They will boost you up. They will help you out. They're like Bob the Builder out here, sometimes to their detriment. But one thing they will not sacrifice or bend on is their morals and their code of ethics, because they are ruled by Saturn. Venus is also the placement of your values. We forget that sometimes because we get lost in the lovey-dovey stuff. But Venus also represents your values. So the sign that your Venus is in and the planet rulership of that sign will tell you a lot about your values as well. And when Saturn is ruling your Venus, you are not with the shits. You are Judge Judy up in this. Yes, you can be a little judgy, and sometimes that gets, in a shadowy place. But at the end of the day, you really care about who you surround yourself with. The energy that you're around, the people you associate with, who is tied and has access to your energy is a high standard, and for good reason. But what that means is whether it's friends, lovers, family, colleagues, whatever, if they cross a certain line when it comes to morals, integrity, and ethics, they're cut. They're out of there. And they won't even see it coming because they think you're that reliable and dependable and loyal that you will continue to look the other way. But there is a line. And when certain character traits start being shown that show you there is a distinct disconnection and misalignment when it comes to certain values that you hold dear to yourself, they're out of here. Cut away. Saturn doesn't play. That value system is intense. It's high. But again, that's part of why people with these placements have a certain energy to them. That's why you want to impress them. That's why you hate disappointing them. That's why you unconsciously find yourself seeking their respect. Because you know that to get someone's respect with those placements means there's something really great about you. You're doing something right. Because they're judgy motherfuckers. But when you gain their approval, it feels good.
Let's talk about the elusive Aquarius Venus. The Aquarius Venus is looking for someone eccentric. They have to be unique and interesting. Don't necessarily have to be liked by everyone. It may actually be preferred that that person isn't liked by everyone. They have to be smart and passionate and have a great sense of humor. Because Aquarius Venus is looking for a best friend within the relationship, which is why a lot of the times they fall for the friend or have to be friends with someone before they start dating them. But Aquarius Venus sometimes attracts the person that is emotionally unavailable because they themselves have a hard time being vulnerable and can be a little detached with their emotions because they feel like they had to work for affection as a child. So maybe they feel like they have to work for affection in relationships now. Hence why they go after someone that may feel like a challenge and get bored if there's no intrigue. It's kind of hard to tell when an Aquarius Venus likes you because they make an effort to pretend like they don't.
So their turn-offs based on their Venus sign, and Venus in Aquarius is up next. Number 1, this Venus sign is definitely the type to not want to be controlled or managed, okay? So if you're someone who really likes to keep a firm grip on the people around them, whether that means you are, constantly in the loop, you know their whereabouts, you need constant communication and check-in, you require a sort of like consistent presence, and need someone to reassure you that this is something that is sort of a white picket fence fantasy, I feel like that's not really going to be the Aquarius Venus vibe, okay? Now, that doesn't mean that they can't commit or they can't, be loving or anything like that, but what that means is they don't really like to be weighed down by the drudgery of maybe monotonous relationships. So this is the Venus sign who gets turned off by someone who's constantly where are you? What are you doing? They don't like that. They also don't like when someone's trying to check them all the time. So it's oh, well, I want to go do this. My friends are doing that. Oh, you can't do that. Aquarius Venus is going to be watch me. They do not like to be controlled in any way, okay? Another turnoff for Aquarius Venus is someone who kind of assumes ownership over them really quickly. So this is definitely the phase or the Venus sign that is going to believe in the talking phase in a way where it's like we're getting to know each other, like no promises. Okay, if you like come into an Aquarius Venus's life and you're like, you're mine, like you can't go anywhere, like you're locked in, they're gonna be kind of like, no, like I don't belong to anyone, who do you think you are, get out of here. They're not really charmed by that the way a like Scorpio Venus would be charmed. And number 3, I would say this is probably one of the biggest turn-offs for Aquarius Venus. Aquarius Venus most of the time really values their friendship with this sort of Venus placement. If you're someone who either tries to cut them off from their friends, or maybe their friends don't like you, kind of like any sort of friction in that way, they will probably be like, ooh, that's not gonna work. I do feel like this is the Venus sign who values friendship at the core of their love, no matter who it is. So if you're not meshing well with their social circle, or if you try to control their social circle, whether you're like, oh, you can't be friends with that person, or like, I don't like you hanging with this person, that's gonna be a no for them. They definitely want someone who fits in sort of like the picture of their friendship circle, and bonus points if their friends love you too.
Venus and Aquarius folk crave intimacy, but of the mind. They need to know that their partner can have this intellectual, out of this world conversations. If not, it's not gonna last. They also need to have a foundation of friendship first and foremost before they'll commit to a long-term lover. Now, if you get in a relationship with a Venus and Aquarius, do not expect that this relationship is going to follow society timeline. They are ready to break down all social norms and do whatever the F they want in their relationship. They're down to be unique. They're very open-minded, caring people wanting to be in service to the collective. So if they find someone else who is like that, ooh, they'll fall. Venus and Aquarius people do not want to be told what to do. This is a shadow side. Sometimes it's very hard for them to be the follower. So if you try to lock them down early, if you get jealous and possessive, they can cut you out and cut you off real quick because they just rationalize it in their minds. I think sometimes they can rationalize things too quickly to protect themselves, and that could be a downfall.
Aquarius Venus deep dive. Aquarius is a fixed air sign, and Aquarius is traditionally ruled by Saturn, while it has modern links to Uranus. So with it in the Venus sign, where they find their worth, their value, their relationship to pleasure, to satisfaction, to money, romance, platonic friendships, family, love in general. With Aquarius, it's much more intellectual. Aquarius Venuses are commonly seen as being distant or cold, especially in love. And while yes, Aquarius Venus may not be the type to actively express that they love you, they're showing it through pursuing you in a more intellectual way, allowing you to be yourself. Aquarius Venus will never tell you who to be, how to look, how to dress. All Aquarius Venuses take you as you are, however you are, in the current state of your life, and they'll never have a goal to change you unless it's something that you're willing about and it's for your betterment. But even through that, Aquarius Venus is just somebody to be your friend, a guide, a person that says, I'll sit next to you through all of these changes, all these hard times. While Aquarius Venus accepts and is even drawn to the physical expression of people, they maintain that admiration, that drive and desire to get to know somebody through getting to know them. The thing with Aquarius Venus being seen as distant and cold, especially in love, and while yes, Aquarius Venus may have this tendency to avoid their own feeling, especially with a form of escapism through bigger, brighter ideas, through another mission that seems better than what they're currently dealing with in reality. Because Aquarius Venus reminds me of advocates. They want to save the world, and a lot of them can do so, but most of them may also struggle with escapism in that sense. And so when they're seen as cold or distant, it could also be because they really don't show or reciprocate love the way that love in a Venus placement is naturally supposed to. Aquarius Venus is going to be repelled and turned off even if you approach them and only value them through their physicality. Aquarius is very intellectual, so they value their ideas. They find their sense of worthiness through their train of thought. And since this is a fixed air sign, they usually have one train of thought at every given moment. Even though Aquarius Venus has a natural talent for networking, especially with something to work like statistics or pattern recognition, and they usually do this through people, through the collective consciousness.
You said what?
I mean, shit, I'm just really trying to holler at you for real, for real.
Holler at me for what?
You said what?
Holler at me for what?
I mean, you're pretty. You got a nice smile.
Aww.
Oh, I love your personality.
Oh, that's cute.
Tell me you can't live without me. I want to hear you say it.
I love you, and I choose to live with you every day.
See, I can't live without you.
But I could live without you.
Say
I just don't want
say, I can't live without you. I want to hear you fucking say it.
Your Aquarius Venus. Sometimes I feel like you love the idea of the chase more than the actual person. The idea of that painful, unrequited, unreciprocated love is just so antagonizingly romantic in a hauntingly, beautifully depressing way. Something just slightly out of reach. However, I feel like this stems from the fact that you hate being vulnerable, and when people are too present for you, or they are finally available for you, or they are finally interested in you in return, you can feel bored or just a little uneasy. You might have felt growing up that you had to constantly work for affection or for attention. You weren't always someone that was very bubbly in speech or had people constantly showering you with a lot of sentimental words. However, I feel like this sometimes set the tone for you not being able or allowing yourself to be vulnerable. There are some parts of you that feel like you don't deserve the same kind of love or affection you're willing to be able to give. This is often why you go after people that are emotionally unavailable as a result of this. As gimmicky as it is, self-love actually repairs your relationship with other people and helps with honest relationships.
As an Aquarius Venus, you are the hippie-like lover. You think everybody deserves it, everyone should get it, but in a detached form. Now, you're so loving and kind and you want to help people, but you have no emotional intelligence yourself. To you, freedom is more important than anything, and although you promote love, you don't necessarily believe in being in it yourself because that's compromising a part of your freedom. You're most likely the bestest friend that all of your friends have. Now, any Aquarius placements aren't really big on jealousy or envy, and they really don't like being owned or caged in. Hence why you're more of a great friend than a lover. Also, you're probably really fucking popular or popular within the group that you have. Keep things platonic until you are logically aware that you are willing to compromise what you need to be in love.
So let's talk a little bit about Venus and Aquarius. Yeah, there's something about this type of dynamic that says, I like my freedom. They truly value intellectual stimulation and a very open and honest and transparent type of, dynamic with someone. They really need their partner to be upfront. Also, they're very okay with their partners having freedom. And at the same time, they expect that their partner give them the same type of grace. But also, I can't explain it, but every now and then I come across a Venus and Aquarius that gives this vibe where it's I don't really care what you do, just make sure you don't disrespect me. You better not let me find out. Also, I would not be surprised if I found a Venus and Aquarius staying in a relationship because it kind of financially supports them or it supports their lifestyle. So usually an Aquarius would generally love their self and their, and their independence. So a Venus and Aquarius, the way to love them is to honor their independence, is to kind of support where they are in this. So if they are in the phase where they really want to center their self or they're just very pro-independent, to love them, you have to support that. Also, if let's say they want to be a little bit more adventurous and explorative when it comes to physical intimacy, Venus and Aquarius is going to need that. They really like innovation. They like a little bit of change. That is something that they truly do value because it feeds that need for intellectual stimulation. They enjoy things that personally develop them and shift their mind.
In honor of Venus being an Aquarius, let's talk about Venus and Aquarius people because they're so misunderstood. Do's and don'ts, Venus and Aquarius edition. Let's go. Don't restrict an Aquarius Venus person's freedom. They don't like clinginess. They don't like a person who's constantly up their ass. They don't like or are attracted to people who don't have a sense of their own identity, a sense of their own freedom. And don't you dare try telling a Venus and Aquarius person that they can't hang out with their friends or they can't go out with their friends. They will literally laugh in your face and shun you. Friendships mean everything to these types of people, so do try to make friends with their friends. Whether you're romantically trying to get involved with a Venus and Aquarius person or just trying to befriend a Venus and Aquarius person, the greatest thing to do is to befriend their friends as well. Don't be coming into a Venus and Aquarius person's life with a whole lot of commotion, a whole lot of emotions, because this is where the Venus and Aquarius detached stereotype gets in play. Because when you're an extremely emotional person, Venus and Aquarius people, they don't really know how to handle that, and they're not really attracted to that either, unless they have a lot of fire or water in their chart. But for the most part, these people are not about the drama or just people acting crazy. If you're gonna act crazy, they're gonna look at you like you're crazy. Keep things light, keep things fun, keep things intellectual, Anything that's like a lot of emotions, they just don't know. And this is where they can clash with water signs. Do be involved in their interests. Venus and Aquarius people have a lot of things that intrigue them. They like doing a lot of activities. And it's very attractive to them, and you want to be included in that as well.